So, I'm Annie, the founder of Breathe, and I teach the journal therapy courses. And I just wanted to give you all a free little video about journaling, some benefits and how to's, because I think it's such a valuable tool and I want everybody to know a little bit about it. I'd love for you to have something to take away when you visit the site and give you a little taste of what the class is like. So, journal therapy is taking expressive writing is exactly what it sounds like. It's writing our emotions. And journal therapy is taking expressive writing and doing something with it, guiding the writing, guiding the analysis of the writing. It is writing with the intention of learning a lesson or gaining some insight, new perspective, setting goals. There's a lot of intention behind it. So that's kind of what journal therapy is. And it's a tool that I use often. And I have really honed that skill being the parent to a child with Prader-Willi syndrome. It's a tool that I use quite often, and it has been very beneficial for me. On this journey, we experience so much in a lot of different realms, but especially when it comes to the range of emotions. We can experience grief and then joy and hope and sadness and all of that stuff. Fear, fear is a big one. And we experience all these emotions and they can happen so quickly, and we can feel just a big range of them, even just throughout the day. And it's important to really have a way to express those feelings and to look at those feelings, to examine them, and to just give them an outlet because sometimes, we often, people in general, but I think especially as parents and caregivers and siblings on this journey, there's so much to take care of, and we don't feel like we have the time to take care of ourselves or the time to explore our emotions or even just experience them. And when we let our emotions, when we, kind of bury them and push them aside or push them down, they tend to fester and manifest in ways that aren't healthy. Um, so I think it's a very valuable tool. So I wanted to give you a quick little overview, and if you're interested in learning more, take one of the journal therapy courses. So one of the benefits of journal therapy is just that understanding yourself better, right? Giving yourself a place to be honest, to explore your experiences, explore your emotions, your interactions with people, even just to document the journey. There's so much that can happen, especially in the beginning. I feel like when we're new, most of us don't envision that we'll be in this community of special needs and disabilities until we're in it. So we're not usually prepared. So journaling is a great way to just kind of document that experience and then to really explore the emotions around it and explore who you are in this space. It is a way to learn your triggers, things that trigger you, things that stress you out, if whether they're people or situations. And so when we can get really clear on what it is that triggers us, then we can look a little deeper into that and look at ways to cope with those people or those situations or ways to avoid it, or how to make them better. So it just really gives us a good, clear insight into the stress in our life. It is also a great place to set goals and hold yourself accountable. Um, a lot of times we have these visions for ourselves, or, we give ourselves these little like, well, okay, I'll do this if that can happen, or I should do this. And we kind of, like there's so many things that can come up that we tend to kind of forget about it. So we forget about a lot of it. So journaling is a great place to kind of store all of those goals and those ideas. It's also a place to develop gratitude. Gratitude. There's more on gratitude in on this website. There are other courses on gratitude, but gratitude is such an important emotion, and to practice. And it's one of those fake it to make it kind of things. The more you look at your gratitude, the more you really take the time to be grateful, the more gratitude that actually generates. And journaling is a great place, a great way to practice gratitude. So, journaling also is very beneficial in people dealing with anxiety, with depression, and trauma, especially PTSD. So a lot of us, I think, experience kind of a low grade anxiety or depression. We all have experiences in our life that have felt kind of traumatic for us, and journaling can be really, really helpful. It is very helpful for those, but in certain situations, in extreme anxiety, depression, or really severe trauma, journaling is a fantastic tool, but the caveat is that it should be under the guidance of a mental health professional. So I just want to say that here. It's a fantastic tool for dealing with anxiety, depression, PTSD, trauma. But if it's really severe, then please seek the guidance of a mental health professional. Journaling is also really um, beneficial to people dealing with grief, especially if it's done in a group setting, and that will be an option for later on this site. But um, when you journal about your grief, there are many ways that it can. You can journal about memories if you've lost somebody. It's a way to kind of document the memories, relive the memories, and feel like that person isn't really gone. It's a way to just be honest about your grief, which sometimes it can be really hard to be honest about our grief, especially if the grief is about someone who is alive. My father had a stroke when I was 14 weeks pregnant with Freya, and in a lot of ways, it was kind of a death. Um, and I grieve for him, but he is still alive, and so it's a weird kind of grief that because he's not gone, he's here. I interact with him, and I still love him very much. But anyway, so it's a way to explore those feelings around grief, and just a place to be honest. It's really great for a variety of mental health disorders, from minor to severe. And again, if you're dealing with severe mental health issues, please seek the guidance of a health professional. And journaling is also really beneficial to your physical health, and it can boost your immune system. And there's a lot of research behind that as well. But so I just overall, journaling is a fantastic, I like to call it a DIY therapy tool. And it's great for all around holistic mental, emotional, physical well-being. And it's something that you can do on your own. Doesn't take you don't need a lot of money to start or to finish. You never It's something simple that you can do at home with the tools that you probably have. So let's get into the how to. So first off, you want to create the space or the time. And I don't necessarily mean physically, although maybe that's what that looks like for you. The important part is to have a bit of time that you can focus on this. So, sitting down on the couch while the TV is on is probably not the best time to do this. You want to have it fairly quiet, maybe some background noise, but you want to have it fairly quiet, and you want to be able to focus on what you're writing and give it a good like 15 minutes, sometimes more. I know people who journal for 45 minutes every morning, and if that's you, that's great. Some people struggle to get 5 minutes, and that's okay as well. It is a muscle that you practice, that you build, and you get better and better. And so, but you want to have a space that is inspiring for you. So for some people, that may be a coffee shop. I know for a lot of parents, especially stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads, or anybody who is the full-time care provider, it can be really hard to find that time and that space. For me, I get up early. I set my alarm at 5:45, and I get up before everybody else gets up, and I have my coffee maker already set. I've cleared a spot the night before. The kitchen table. I don't know what it's like in your house, but in our house, the kitchen table tends to collect some clutter, and then we push it aside to eat dinner. And so I make sure that I have a nice clear spot in before I go to bed, so that when I get up in the morning, I turn my coffee maker on. I've got my clear spot, and I can sit and journal. So maybe that's what it looks like for you. Maybe it's in the evening, maybe it's after you put the kids to bed, or maybe it's on a lunch break at work. Whatever that is, just have the time where you are going to not be interrupted, and be able to be in a fairly quiet, non-disruptive space. And the tools, pen and paper. Like I said, you don't pen and paper is what you need. Whether that's a stack of lined paper and a pen you got from the bank, or if you are really into this, if you really want to invest more into it, and more time, and more inspiration, go to a bookstore, go to your local bookstore and find a journal. Go through the journals, feel the paper, feel the weight. Will you put it in your bag and take it with you? You go to an art store and find a pen, and write with all the pens and check those out. And so just find something that's inspiring to you that you will want to use. And when you do sit down to write, having a prompt is really helpful, especially for people when they're starting out and they're just getting this practice going. Having a prompt is wonderful to help get you going. I'll talk about prompts here in a minute. But maybe it's just that you have something coming up, something in your life that you are really struggling with, and this is what I want to write about. So maybe you know what you want to write, but you're going to sit down to write. You want to have, a good 15 minutes, or maybe say, I'm going to write 3 pages, whatever that looks like for you. But you want to put some focus here. You want to have a good amount of time, and you're going to be honest with yourself. This is a place to be totally honest. Nobody is going to read this. The intention is that nobody is going to read this. If you share it with somebody, that's up to you. But write with the intention that nobody is going to read this. And don't edit. Don't worry about spelling or grammar. They're not important. And then here is the big one when it comes to journal therapy, is you are going to write with the intention of, and maybe you're not writing with the intention, but you're going to get out what you need to get out, what needs to come out. And then you go back and you read it. And you want to gain some insight, learn a lesson, contextualize this experience or this emotion into your broader life. What is this struggle? What did you write about, and what is the challenge, and what can you learn from that? So whatever that looks like, as far as what it was that you wrote. When I write, I tend to work my way from the challenge through to a solution, or an understanding. So I don't usually go back and read, but when you're just starting out, especially if you're just, I like to call it just kind of like a brain dump, or like a decluttering. I call it decluttering. And just, when you have all those ruminating thoughts, you just need to get them out. So you just put them out onto the page, and then once they're there, they're tangible, and there's something to work with there. So then you can go back and you can read through and find where the sore spots really are, and what you really need to work through and process. And so you can pull those out, and then you write about those. So the intention is to write, to get out what needs to come out. When you sit down to write, don't stop. Don't let your pen stop. Don't sit and think too much about what you're writing. Okay, because you're trying to get those hidden, those buried, those deeper emotions. You're trying to access those. So you've got, the pen, the brain to the hand, and that, just let the hand go. Let that connection really drive. those unconscious thoughts, what needs to come out. So, and then like I said, go back and analyze them and learn a lesson, gain some insight, find some clarity, whatever you need to gain from that. So I want to talk about prompts for a minute. There are a variety of prompts, but I think a couple that are easier for beginners. If you're just starting out, list prompts are great. Um, list your list your favorite memories from childhood, or list the obstacles in your life right now. And so when you make those lists, no matter how small something seems, it can go on that list, and you can give yourself 10, or you can just write write a list until you feel like the list is done, and then if you need to, you can go back and look at that list and explore things that came up and write about those, and maybe find ways to, create more of that if it's a list of what makes you happy, or if it's a list of your obstacles, and you can kind of brainstorm ways to deal with those challenges. Another good start for beginners, I think, is sentence stems that kind of gives you that beginning. I feel happiest when, and you start with that, or I need help with, and go from there. So it kind of gives you the sentence that you can finish. And again, the idea is to just keep that pen moving. And one of the tricks that I tell people, if they feel like they're stuck, when they sit down to write and they don't have a prompt that is inspiring to them, write the details of the room you're in, because something in the details might spark something else. And so that's a way to go. That's a way to kind of get your pen moving and keep it moving. But those sentence stems, I feel happiest when, I need help with, I struggle with, my favorite experience is, whatever that looks like. And then the last prompt I wanted to bring up is one that you could do every day. It's the same prompt, and it goes back to that idea of practicing gratitude and creating more gratitude. And just, you could have an entire journal devoted to gratitude. And so every morning when you get up, or every evening before you go to bed, you can write 5 things that you are grateful for in that moment. And maybe it's the same thing, but you want to try and expand your gratitude. You don't want to be like family, friends, food, pets, um, surfing. I don't know why I said surfing. I'm not a surfer. But I know people that I know that surf are grateful for it. So I'm a big proponent of journal therapy, and I think it's a fantastic tool that everyone should try. And it's a way that we can all take care of ourselves, and it has carried me so far in life. It has taught me, I've learned so much from journaling, and it's really helped me with my interactions with other people. It's helped me be a better parent, a better friend, and it's helped me be kinder to myself and more accepting, have more gratitude and joy in life in general, and also on this journey. So I hope that you give it a try. And if you're interested in learning more, definitely check out one of the journal therapy classes, and know that at some point I will be doing live journal therapy classes. But until then, I hope that this helps out and gives you an idea of what journal therapy is. And yeah, I hope you give it a try, because it's worth it. So thank you.